Thank you. Our next speaker is somebody who sees the face in Facebook as meaning software that runs facial recognition on my kids, and I'm not uploading my pictures to that. Thank you very much to Charles Wright for producing Circles. This is an in-house project here. Also, by the way, at the end, if you have questions, feel free to be loud so the camera picks it up. I was born in New York City, so it comes natural to be obnoxious, but you're all welcome to be as obnoxious as you want when asking questions.
All right, thank you, Louis. Thank you, everybody, for coming. So I'm here to talk about my project, Circles. It's a new app that we're working on here at FUTO. It's currently in beta, and it does end-to-end encrypted social networking. And I'll draw a little distinction here. Maybe this is something that only I do. Maybe we can make it a thing. When I say social networking, I'm talking more about like what Facebook did or Google Plus tried to do. Things where you're connected to real people that you really know. And maybe we'll call social media things like Twitter and Mastodon and all these things where largely you're connected to other people that you don't really know. You may be following, great political commentators or influencers, or if you are one of these people, this is your way to like broadcast out to the world. Here with Circles, we're much more interested in more of the closed world setting where you want to kind of keep these things close, right? You want to have a nice, easy way to share with the people that you know in the real world, but maybe they're not in person with you. You can't just pull out your phone and say, hey, look at this cool photo, right? You need to somehow send that through servers off in the cloud somewhere. And we want to do that without that cloud service spying on you, learning everything they possibly can about that photo, running face recognition, all the dirty, nasty things that they do. So I'll spend a lot of time today talking about the problem and kind of like diagnosing what needs to be done. And then I'll talk a little bit about what we're actually doing at the end. When I was teaching computer science, I used to tell this joke about an engineer that worked for a long time at a factory and finally retires. And he's gone fishing for a couple years, and one day they call him back and they say, hey, Fred, we need your help. The machine doesn't work anymore. We're losing like millions of dollars a day. Can you come back and help us? And so Fred comes back and he looks around like, okay, he walks around the machine a few times. Finally, he's like, you got a rubber mallet? They say, okay, yeah, somebody find Fred a rubber mallet. So he walks around to the back of the machine, bam, bam, bam. Like, all right, turn it on now. And it works, right? And so the next week, the engineering manager gets a bill in the mail from Fred, $5,000 for consulting services. And he's like, Fred, the accounts payable is never going to just give you $5,000. We need some sort of like evidence. Why are we going to pay you here? And so Fred sends back an itemized invoice. Hitting machine with rubber mallet, $60 an hour at 1 minute, $1. Knowing where to hit it, $4,999, right? So we're going to talk here mostly about where do we want to hit this problem? What do we need to do? And then I can talk a little bit about, about the bam, bam, bam that we're doing to try to build this thing into shape. So really, the real problem that makes social networking bad is advertising. This is the core root of all evil in this space. And this is something that famous people have known for a long time because their livelihood and their fame has been dependent on it. We also notice they tend to exhibit a lot of weird psychological issues sometimes, maybe, right? Famous people tend to be kind of weird and the fame does bad things to them. Well, it's funny, around the same time of that Jay-Z song, we were getting these big sites like Facebook and Twitter, and advertising was becoming a problem for all of us, not just for people who have a plausible claim at being the best rapper alive, right? Ordinary Joe Schmoes trying to post pictures of their kids also had this problem because brilliant people, high-end coders, brilliant data scientists like Jeff Hammerbecker, who was at Facebook, were spending all day long trying to think about how can they keep you on their site, looking at ads and clicking on ads all day. And so, funny enough, normal people started exhibiting some of these weird psychological things that we were seeing in famous people for years and years, right? Where you have this persona that you put out there that sometimes becomes bigger than you, and you have these advertisers that now want to know every single thing about you, not just about Jay-Z. So that's weird and that sucks. And if that wasn't bad enough, we also saw some strange stuff over the last few years, where not only are they really creepy and spying on you, now they're also going to control what you can say and who you can talk to. Here we have an update from Facebook. This is about a year into the pandemic, a year and change, when they announced that, you know what, maybe now we're going to back off a little bit on some of this lab leak stuff. Maybe now we're going to let you talk about this now. Whoops, right? Only now is it coming out that the director of the FBI is saying, well, you know, it looks like that was probably the right answer all along. So now we have these big platforms that are spying on everything that you do. They're manipulating you by what they choose to show you or what they don't choose to show you, and now they're gonna control what you're allowed to say to your friends. And people aren't going for it. I don't know if you are on Facebook. I'm not really anymore, but I log in every once in a while just to kind of see what's going on, or to post a link to my new project. But it's kind of a ghost town. If you're not familiar with the dead internet theory, you should go and Google it, and you can go down a rabbit hole and lose some hours of your life. Some wild internet conspiracy theories there. But the original post that talks about this, that proposed this idea, you can see why people would believe crazy conspiracy theories about the internet being completely made up of bots now. Because when you go and you look, if you're used to the old days when normal people were posting stuff a lot, that's kind of gone. And so why has it happened? Well, people read article after article in the New York Times and the Washington Post and the BBC and every other venue, and realized, okay, this is gross. These companies are spying on me. They're manipulating me. They're trying to make me happy or sad or pissed off or angry at my neighbor down the street to get me continually scrolling and viewing ads. And now they're controlling what I can say. And largely normal people just kind of peaced out, right? They're gone. Maybe they're doing like me. Maybe they log in to see what's going on and they don't post anything like I don't. So for me, our daughter was born in 2014. All I wanted to do, I just wanted to share pictures of the kid, right? And I wanted a way that's easy, it's convenient, not just convenient for me, but also convenient for my friends and my family. And it's also secure. I was a young assistant professor at the time. I was reading about all the creepy stuff going on. And yet, at the same time, I had this cute little baby. And if you've ever had one, you know that you're like biologically compelled to share photos with everybody you know. But we decided early on we were never going to put her on Google Photos. We were never going to put her on Facebook, because that's weird, right? This kid could grow up her entire life and have these giant multinational corporations know more about her than she does. That's gross. So we kind of sat down and looked at what are our choices, and it looks like you can have either security and privacy, or you can have convenience. And we chose security and privacy. We use Signal with our family. Sort of, it kind of works. It works great. If you want to share a lot of photos, though, you get into a weird situation. As a new parent, you take like 50 pictures of your kid every day, and you can share like 2. Because every time you send one, what happens? Bzz, bzz, bzz. And people will hate you if you do this all day, every day. But if you had a place where you could easily post these photos, like on one of these spying sites, you could post them and people could scroll through them at their own leisure without their hip going bzz, bzz all day long. And they would like them, it would be a good thing. You could stay connected to your family and friends that don't live in the same place where you live. So that's what I want. So I want an app that lets people stay in contact over great distance. I want something that's fun and pleasant and easy to use, because I want non-techies on there. And I want something that people can trust, that they know is not going to screw them. Not right now and not in the future. Okay, so what's our strategy? How do we do this? I think there's a lot of attempts out there where people have built projects that have kind of the same functionality as Facebook, and they advertise it and like, hey, look, cool, you should come and you should upload all your photos to my site. I'm nice. I'm not like Mark Zuckerberg. I'm not a greedy bastard, right? I think the problem is, and the reason why none of those ever take off, is that people instinctively understand that people respond to incentives. And this new site, maybe they're not greedy spies right now, but all the incentives are the same. Eventually, over time, you're going to get to a point where they're going to behave the same way that Google and Facebook behave. And so if we want to do something better, then we need to build a different incentive structure that rewards us for doing the right thing and punishes us for doing the bad thing. So how do we do that? I think the first thing, no advertising, ever, 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 ever. Maybe there is a way to do privacy-preserving ads. I don't know. I think users don't care and they don't want to hear it, and it doesn't matter. Okay, so no ads. How do we make sure that we don't get greedy in a couple years and start showing ads and start data mining everybody's posts in order to make more money showing our ads? Well, we need to encrypt everything from end to end so that we, as the service provider, can't see any of the pictures that you post and we can't read any of the text in the captions or in your text posts. So we need the end-to-end encryption. Okay, so now how can the users be sure that their data is really end-to-end encrypted? Well, we need to make the app open source so that the hardcore techies can go and read through it and make sure that it's really doing what we claim it's doing. Then we also need to provide an outlet where if we do become evil or greedy or mean or whatever it is, right? Users can always go and do their own thing. They can always run their own server and they don't have to depend on us at all. That's going to keep us very honest. It's going to force us to be competitive. It's going to force us to act in our users' best interest. And then in order for that user that wants to run their own server, for them to not be some isolated hermit weirdo off in their own world while everybody else is over here in the happy world connected to everybody, we want them to be connected, right? We want people that run their own servers to be connected to everybody else. So we need something like federation. Okay, so now I'm in the part of the talk where I can now talk about, now we've got our hammer, we know where we need to hit the machine, let's go make some noise. So the app that we built is called Circles, Social Circles. The idea is we provide a nice, easy, convenient interface on the front end for the user. So if you've used Facebook or Google Plus for the minute that was a thing, or Friendster, or any of these things that were there before, it should be familiar to you, right? You can see a timeline of your friend's post, you can scroll through it, you can like things, you can reply to things. But on the back end, underneath, where the users don't have to see, it's all matrix. Which means we get all the nice benefits of the things that the Matrix platform provides. Like we get the end-to-end encryption kind of almost for free. We get the federation where multiple servers can talk to each other. We get that kind of almost for free. And it's all open standards and it's all open source. I'll just give you a very, very quick intro to Matrix here. If you're not familiar with it, it's a recent standard for open source federated group chat. It works basically on the same model as email. Everybody has to have a server. Everybody talks directly to their server, and then the server goes and talks to the rest of the world on their behalf. It has nice end-to-end encryption. It has nice things like emoji reactions. It has a bunch of cool stuff that saved me as an individual developer, saved me a ton of time, probably a year and a half, 2 or 3 years of work. If you know me, you know that my personal hobby is now complaining about Matrix. It's not perfect. It has a lot of rough edges. If you used Linux in the 2.0 to 2.2 days, you know what it feels like to use something that's really, really rough, but you can see the potential in it, and it could get a lot better and could be very transformative. I think we're at about that point with Matrix right now. Okay, so now we have this nice base layer protocol that we can build on that does the encryption, that does the federation, that lets people be free and not spied on, but it's a chat app. I don't want chat. If I wanted an encrypted chat app, there's several of those. I could just grab one. I want the nice, easy social thing where I can scroll through timelines of people's baby photos and click the little like button, right? So how do we take the existing chat platform and build the nice social app on top of it? That's the main challenge that I'm going to talk about today. We've also done a lot of other work about trying to do better trade-offs of security and privacy and convenience and all this stuff. I'm happy to talk about offline. Okay, so let's talk about how do we represent social structures on top of a chat platform. We have 2 basic use cases that we want to do. One is the easy mode. It's more like a Facebook group, right? With a group, you have well-defined membership. Either somebody is a member of this Facebook group or they're not. And then once you're in the group, pretty much everybody has the same relationship to every other group member, right? Everybody in the group can see every message that's posted to the group. But the real thing that we want to get to is a little bit harder. It's harder to define, it's harder to talk about. It's like this friend relationship, right? And so, like on Facebook, it's called friends. On LinkedIn, it's called having a contact or a connection. I'm not sure, but it's the same basic structure, right? Where these are the people that I know that have this kind of relationship with. But it's weird, right? Like if you and I are friends, we probably have a lot of friends in common. That doesn't necessarily mean that all of my friends are your friends, or that you want to see everything from my friends, or I want to see everything from your friends. And we want to build something without making it weird, like we have to invite everybody to come join the same chat room. So let's talk about the easy mode first. If we have like a Facebook group, fundamentally, how is that different from chat, right? Everybody's in the same place. Everybody posts messages. Everybody can see all the messages. It's basically, technologically, it's basically the same structure as a chat room, right? It's just asynchronous. So if we want to build a Facebook group on top of a chat room, it's easy. All we need to change is the UI, right? We just draw the little box around each post. We put the little icon of the user's profile photo. We put their name, right? We do all that stuff to make it look like a Facebook post. And underneath, on at the base layer, we didn't have to really change anything. So that was pretty easy, and that we can just do that. It's all on the client side. It's all just in the UI. Now now that we've got that, let's talk about what we do to represent friend relationships. So obviously, we can't just throw everybody in one big chat room. That doesn't work. And so let's think about it. Okay, my friends, your friends, our friends. Well, we can kind of do the chat room thing again, right? If we put all your friends in one room, then you could go, oops. If we put all your friends in one room, then you could post all your updates there, all your pictures of your kid or your dog or your cat or your vacation or whatever it is that you're posting, right? And all your friends will see them and they'll be happy. Oh, go forward, there we go. Now, for all of my friends, if I have a room where I can post my pictures of my kid and my pictures of my dog, all my friends can see that and they'll be happy. And then if there's somebody that happens to be my friend and your friend, that's not too bad. They just need to be in both of those chat rooms so that they see the updates from me and the updates from you. So it's actually pretty simple. What we do, we create one room for each user. They post their updates there. They invite their friends to, like, quote, follow them by joining the room. And mostly the friends are, they're just going to read. They're not going to post anything until it's like your birthday. That's the thing, right? And Facebook, the only time you go and post into somebody else's space is when they get a new job, they get married. You say congratulations or happy birthday or something. But for the most part, if this is Alice's room, all the posts are pretty much going to come from Alice. And the nice thing is, again, right, we're building on Matrix that has all the nice end-to-end encryption built in. Nobody else gets to see anything in here. Not the server for me, not the server for Alice, not any other user who isn't part of the room. And to be a part of the room, you have to be invited by Alice. So then we just have one of those for each of our friends, right? We have our room where we post our stuff. We have like Bob's room where Bob posts his stuff, and Charlie's room where Charlie posts his stuff. And then the application, all it needs to do is go look at all those rooms, fetch all the posts, put them together, and do just like we did for the Facebook group type of thing, and draw the nice little box around it with the profile photo and all that stuff. And presto, we have basically like a miniature version of Facebook here, end-to-end encrypted, private, and something that you can run yourself. And bonus, right? There's nothing that says you can't have multiple copies of this structure. So we're going to call this structure here, this is like a secure social circle. One room that belongs to you, and one room that belongs to each of your friends that's part of that circle. And you can scroll through and you can see all the updates from all your friends in an easy way. And none of this stuff with the weird chat rooms and the weird encryption and stuff, none of that gets surfaced to the users. So we as the application deal with it, and the user sees puppy photos and baby photos. So we built this. We have an app, a native app on Android. We have a native app on iOS. The app on Android is in beta right now. You can check it out. It does basic social network stuff. I won't bore you by going through all the details and showing you like stock photos of babies. You can imagine what it looks like. On iOS, We had an app that was in beta, then it went out of beta, then it went back into beta. Then we found issues with the Matrix software development kit. We rewrote the Matrix software development kit. Now we're porting the app to use our own SDK, and we're hoping to have it finished up and back in beta by the end of the month. Yeah, so thanks for watching the talk. If you want to try out the Android app, you can get the beta through we have our own F-Droid repo here. Also have the links if you want to check it out. So thanks. I hope there's time for some Q&A maybe.
There is.
Okay. Yeah, so the question is, have we looked at other alternatives for the underlying substrate, things like Nostr or some of the other decentralized things that I would think of more as social media, right? Things are like broadcasting and publishing out to the world, ActivityPub, Mastodon, that sort of stuff. Yes, we have looked. The challenge is that the core feature that I want here is the end-to-end encryption. And all these protocols that are based on broadcasting out to the world, encryption is kind of the opposite of that. And so they don't really have much in that space. And so yes, Matrix is almost entirely focused on chat. It's kind of weird as a project. It's like they can't decide, are they a platform? Are they a chat app? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I think they're a platform. Maybe they don't know it yet. Maybe they don't appreciate what people can do with the platform that they've built, but hopefully, I'm really hoping in the next like 5-10 years, we get a new generation of apps that are end-to-end encrypted, built on this as like a substrate. I think it could be bigger than something like Tor, potentially, if we do it right. How do we bootstrap the network effect? Slowly and painfully, probably. So one thing I want to do is, I want to get the people I know to join it. I think, in reality, the way something like this would grow would be one family at a time. And so the platforms, the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store, they offer in-app subscriptions, which was how we're going to have people pay for their accounts on our servers. If you got your own server, you want to use your own server, totally free. Go and do your thing. They offer family subscriptions, so you can connect other users to be part of your family group, and so that would allow people to, like the mom of the family or the dad of the family, to sign up and pay for the family subscription, and then grandma and grandpa and aunts and uncles could all be part of that and get an account, kind of for free, paid by the first user. And I think we're going to grow in these little islands of families at first, because we're targeting other people like me, and people, moms of young kids, dads of young kids, grandpas of young grandkids. And we can grow like one little family at a time, and then eventually the little islands will connect. At least that's my hope. There is not a desktop app yet. And maybe the right answer is to just build a web interface. I was really hesitant with the security stuff there, very wary of trying to build an encrypted app in the browser. But Matrix seems to be doing a pretty good job with their main app element, so maybe I shouldn't be so scared after all. It exists. It's all busted right now. We had it in test flight for a while, which is like the app store for things that are in beta. The test flight expired, and we let it go away because it was really broken. The iOS SDK for Matrix loses your keys like crazy. So you try to have an encrypted conversation with somebody, and it fails to store the key, and tomorrow you can't decrypt anymore. So that was not a pleasant experience for anybody. So I think we're maybe 2 or 3 weeks away from having it back up and running. Yeah, so the question was about the perfect forward secrecy in the Signal protocol. I'm not really 100% up to date on what they're doing. The Matrix group messaging protocol is very similar to the older Signal group messaging protocol with like the sender keys. Yeah, so it's not as great. Also, it's a little weird on Matrix because all your keys and all your messages get backed up on the server. And what are those protected by? like a single symmetric key. And so, yeah, we do all this fancy ratcheting all the time because we know that it's the right thing to do, and we want to use whatever is like the best level of that primitive, right? Whatever the thing, the job that needs to be done, we want to find the best thing that does that job. And the double ratchet protocol or the kind of single ratchet protocols are kind of the best thing that we have right now. So it makes sense to use them. It's a little weird though with matrix, right? If your one backup key gets compromised, you're pretty much done. I don't know. I've only seen the security community online like rip people to shreds when they propose anything that's not double ratcheted. So we're trying to make this acceptable to people. We want to make it good enough that I can, with a straight face, go to my old community in security and privacy research and say, hey, I built this thing. It's good. It's the best that you can have right now. You should use it. And so, yeah, we're jumping through some hoops that maybe we could not jump through, but we're going to do what we can to be the best that we can in all these ways. Yeah.